See, Cassiopeia picked up by St. Clair as their first pick. Very strong and has a lot of utility, a lot of CC with her slows and with her ultimate that freezes you in place. And we'll see what Rochester picked up. And they're going to, looks like they're going to pick up the Ezreal again. And no surprises there. Their Ezreal was dominant in the first game, going 10-0-2, and just ruining their the lives of the St. Clair bot laners. We'll see if he can do that again. See if he's paired up with a Thresh again, possibly. Thresh is doing really well. Your pick for MVP was a Thresh. And we are seeing an Urgot top lane, and that is, if you've been watching any professional league, you've been seeing that has been dominating the top lane for quite some time. Ever since halfway through last year, it's been a very dominant pick, and they're gonna have to find something to counter that. And they're hovering a Sivir right now. I don't know if they're gonna go with that into the Ezreal. I can play pretty safe. And they are going to go with the Sivir into the Ezreal, which her Spell Shield does offer a bit of protection. We'll see if there's possibly a tankier bot lane, and they're going to go something that's not so aggressive in the early game. They're going to try and scale up to late, and looks like they're hovering the Pike, and there's a Thresh. Hovering. Oh, they're going to pick up the Thresh. So it's a good pick. The Thresh from last game on the side of Rochester actually was doing very well against St. Clair, so it looks like they're going to take that away. It's a possibility. And Vel'Koz picked up again for Rochester. He did pretty well in his matchup. Didn't really quite get a lead all by himself, but once he did pick up a kill, he was able to zone off that Xerath for most of the game. He had about a 15-20 CS lead throughout most of the mid-game. Into the later game. So Scion banned off by Rochester. Something of a tankier top lane that you can play into an Urgot. It can be pretty safe, and you can mostly scale the late game, which is what looks like the St. Clair is trying to do with the Cassio pick and the Sivir pick. So Xin Zhao, another aggressive early jungler, banned away by St. Clair from Rochester. We'll see. Rochester has one more ban left. We'll see what they take away. Possibly something tank your top lane that would be able to counter the Urgot. They could also ban the Vayne, which has been very effective against Ezreal. They're going to ban away the Kha'Zix. So an aggressive jungler. Vel'Koz, even though he will most likely bring Cleanse, will not have a lot of escape. And a final ban for St. Clair is going to be Morgana. So a little bit of a very effective jungler in the bot. Pretty safe. She can throw out her Qs, which can allow Ezreal to land some easy Qs for himself, easy Kleptomancy procs, and some easy gold for him can be taken away by banning away that Morgana. And a couple aggressive junglers hovered over by Rochester, but they will pick up the Nocturne. Nocturne is a very good pick for this. He can go aggressive on the Sivir and the Thresh. He's a very aggressive jungler. He plays more towards the mid lane and bot lane. And they don't necessarily have a lot of tank on the side of St. Clair right now. Just the Thresh is semi-tanky. Looks like they are going to pick up the Sejuani again. And we'll see if this goes top lane or jungle. And they're hovering the Darius. Very good solo Q pick. He has a lot of mainstream damage and can definitely contest the Urgot in the early to mid game. So we'll see. And they pick up the Cho'Gath. So that can most likely go top. Could be flex to jungle or mid, but most likely will go top, which means Sejuani will go jungle, where she is the most effective at this point. And Cassiopeia will go mid. You can also play Cassiopeia top, which isn't actually that bad into Urgot because she can play pretty safe. But I don't believe that'll be the most effective way to win the game for St. Clair. So the final pick looks like it'll be a Tom Kench for the Ezreal. So that definitely helped with the Sejuani jungle, who is going to be playing super aggressive in the bot lane, most likely trying to stop that Ezreal roll from coming in. And it'll help for the Thresh. If the Thresh lands a good hook, Tom Kench can just gobble his ADC up, bring him back to safety, and spit him out. So I do like the draft out of Rochester. Very interesting draft of the St. Clair. I think they are looking for another scaling comp with the Sivir and the Cho'Gath. They have very good front line with the Sivir and Cho'Gath, and the Cassiopeia and Sivir can kind of hit from the back. I believe there's a lot of poke with the Vel'Koz and the Ezreal coming out of Rochester. We'll see how they manage that. We'll see if Nocturne, how aggressive he can be early game. I'm most interested in the Urgot versus Cho'Gath matchup. We'll see if Cho'Gath can survive that, and it's be an interesting game. Welcome back. So, what'd you think of that pick man phase?
I think we picked a little bit more comfort, considering how they played last game. Um, and hopefully, the comfort is gonna let them maybe loosen up a bit and play a bit better.
Yeah, for sure. So, I do want to ask about this Cho'Gath versus Urgot matchup. Why Cho'Gath into the Urgot?
Urgot's damage was kind of hurt, and his passive shield doesn't come up as much. And Cho'Gath actually has a decent time just kind of sustaining in the lane. If you can, you don't necessarily have to dodge everything, but you do need to just kind of play around it and make sure you're getting your last hits.
Yeah, for sure.
And Cho'Gath is just generally good at pushing, and yeah.
Okay. The Cassiopeia was your first pick. Why Cassiopeia first pick?
Cassiopeia right now is just one of the top meta picks, right? She's got a lot of damage. Her grounded ability is really strong. And she starts off kind of as a poke champion, but then late game you hit your kind of 3-item spike.
Yeah.
And then you're able to just blow up people with a couple E's.
For sure. Why the Aatrox ban and not something like maybe, or even the Zoe ban instead of something like the Ezreal that was so dominant last game?
The Ezreal was really dominant, but we decided to go more towards like a direct counter in Sivir. And a range support that can kind of still apply pressure, but not have to get so far up in the front.
Yeah, for sure.
And that should allow us to kind of walk away and dodge a lot of those Qs. That was the main problem.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the Tom Kench is a really good pick against it, but I think it is a more passive lane than they had last game.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to be able to just in case we get an all in from the Thresh and the jungler, Tom Kench can just swallow him up, and yeah. So Tom Kench can swallow him up and just run away with the Ezreal.
Yeah. And I think their Valkos pick was still a good idea just because he performed really well on it. Cassiopeia doesn't have a lot of range, right?
Yeah.
But if Cassiopeia can get on top of Valkos, very quickly can she run him down by landing a Q.
Yeah, I do see two cleanses on the side of Rochester this game. So they're definitely looking, because of the Sejuani, because of the Cassiopeia CC, going to be able to look to escape from that. And looks like we're about to get in the game in about 20 seconds. But the interested to see how St. Clair is going to come back after their last game and see if they can take this back under control, see if it's a more even game than we saw last time, and hopefully we can see a closer match, more exciting match.
Yeah.
And looks like we're just going to get into game now.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting on the new patch. Jungle EXP was nerfed a bit. It looks a lot bigger on paper, but in game, you're still kind of you're still pretty much in the middle of your solo laners and your duo lane bot.
Yeah.
But Nocturne has essentially got slightly weaker due to the EXP nerfs and not being able to hit that level 6 so fast.
Okay.
So it's going to be definitely interesting to see how the Nocturne kind of plays out on the current patch.
Yeah. So we looks like we're about to get in game, but not. And the Sejuani obviously is still very powerful. She's a very she was pretty weak. I mean, you saw her usage last year, all across the board. She's one of the top junglers used. She has a lot of CC built into her kit. She has a lot of sustain, and she's able to keep jungle pressure up while also ganking lanes at the same time. So I think we're going to see the same style. We're going to see St. Clair all go to the same spot in this front bush of the right side of the jungle, and Rochester's going to spread out again, cover all their gates.
Mm-hmm.
And
St. Clair once again just trying to look to see if they can get a pick. And it looks
pause.
like St. Clair has issues on their comms, so they're going to be working to fix that. It should only be a couple-minute delay here.
Yeah. So what do St. Clair do differently in this game to get them back into this series?
I think they're gonna have to look at their the Korean overlord's advice of get good, and actually be able to play out their lanes instead of just losing like CS leads and whatnot, just because of the huge gold they were able to amass through CS and then just kind of transition into the mid game.
Yeah.
Rochester was able to play that really cleanly. So I think if St. Clair plays cleaner in the lanes, they have a good shot of winning the game.
Yeah, for sure. I also want to ask, what person are you looking to step up this game?
I'm really looking to see Ben step up this game. So that's Ben Zerks playing the Sivir. I think Sivir just has a lot of opportunities to outplay this team with the speed and with Spell Shield, and does really well into Ezreal and is just able to get a lot of poke in the lane. And just kind of by extension, you kind of want to see the support being there, being the right hand man of the ADC,
Definitely.
landing a lot of hooks and trying to maybe show up Rochester's Thresh last game.
Oh, so we're looking for Apex Snipe to step it up, land a few more hooks, few flays, and show Kiz what it really means to be a excellent Thresh.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're still on pause here. Hopefully these mic issues resolve themselves soon. We're also almost curious to see who's going to win this top lane matchup between the Cho'Gath and the Urgot because of the dominance that Urgot has had lately. And we'll see.
And it looks like we're about to get back into the game. The
does.
teams are just readying up here. And it should only be a couple more seconds before they decide to actually unpause the game.
So we looking for this Nocturne, also see where he goes with his ganks, see if he gets any early aggressive ganks. And he does look for that 6 because his level 6 ult is a big game changer. It can make a huge difference in lanes, and it could basically almost guarantee you a kill when they hit 6. So hopefully, we got back in 1 second, and we're back in the game. All right,
Here we go.
so we got mic issues resolved, and we'll see where St. Clair. Oh, we got a nice flash hook, level 1. Don't think Ezreal was ready for that, and Tom Kench will swallow him up and pick him out, but very early in the game, we got the Ezreal flash out, big summoner, and we do have the Thresh flash, but it was a good flash hook, and we're even seeing, we're 40 seconds in the game, we're already seeing, Apex wants to say, I see your Thresh, I'll one-up that.
Yeah, and I think that was a really good play by them. Able to get the trade on the flashes for support and AD carry. I'm never going to complain about that.
No, for
and,
sure.
Making the Tom Kent start the W is going to take a lot of the early pressure away from that bot lane until they can hit the level 2 spike.
Yeah, for sure. So it's going to be a lot of early pressure for the bot lane to put on, especially with the Ezreal not having his flash, because that's going to be a big difference in the bot lane. It's going to allow the jungler to see if there's an opportunity for her to make some big make some gank spot lane happen and get some early pressure down there because Ezreal is going to be forced to play safe with his flash down. Hopefully we'll see maybe a level 2 or level 3 gank out of the Sejuani, and I think top lane is going to be mostly just a farm lane for a while. We'll see junglers doing their standard starts, no invades, nothing
and
too crazy.
I think it's important to point out that both junglers are going to the Krugs, but it's really important that Nocturne is going to his Krugs so early. It does mean that he's not looking for a really early aggressive game.
Yeah, because the Krugs do the most damage out of any camp to the junglers in the game. Yep. So that's something that he's going to be... Oh, it does look like he's going to roam to the jungle. He's looking for possibly a gank on Cho'Gath, level 2 for everyone, and Urgot's going to land some knockdown, but they aren't going to get the Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath is going to stay alive in the top lane. Oh, and we got an all-in from nice gank from Sejuani. She's going to go in. She's going to hit the proc, and we got first blood and we got a flash, and 2 kills early in the bot lane. Yeah. Very good for St. Clair. And as I said, Sejuani came to the bot lane. They did burn 2 flashes, but you're never going to complain about that because you picked up the first 2 kills of the game. And it makes a big difference compared to last game where there was so much early pressure by Rochester on St. Clair. But St. Clair able to get the jump on Rochester. Sejuani came down early. And she's going to try and contest for blue buff.
Yeah. And right there just being a huge, just kind of stemming right away from the beginning of the game where they're able to actually get the flash. Nice snipe by
Sejuani. And they might go in for another kill here. Oh, and flash used by Tom Kench. And flash by Cassiopeia. She's going to pick up the kill on Tom Kench again. And looks like they're going to stay here for a bit. But another kill picked up in the bot lane by St. Clair. And they're at a 3-0 lead, and they're only 3 minutes into this game. So some good early aggression, and they're definitely saying, you know what, we did lose last game, but we're not going to be scared. We're going to play aggressive. We're going to take some early advantages, and they're 3-0 up now. Their bot lanes should be
Yeah,
a little bit
and
more ahead.
yeah, the
But
early aggression it looks a lot better right now coming out
yeah,
from
for
them,
sure.
and the stacks already coming in from Ezra right there,
Yeah.
procking the passive.
But
And one of the things that a lot of people don't know is that the Krugs camp actually has an EXP reduction on its first take.
oh,
It is the most EXP and gold camp for the jungle, but taking it early and getting that early respawn is actually going to help Nocturne hit that level 6 faster
okay. So
doing his second clear.
it's better for the Nocturne when he's trying to hit 6, but for early aggression, it's not so
Exactly.
good. Okay. So it's a good, if he's looking for a level 6 gank, it's better, but if you're looking for a level 2 or 3 gank, it's not so great.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I do want to talk about mid, and another thing was the mid laner picked up that kill on the Tom Kench for his second death, so she started picking up an advantage in mid lane. That'll definitely help her out in the laning phase. Definitely allow her to be more aggressive on the Vel'Koz, not have to play so safe. And obviously you got the early lead in the bot lane for the Sivir, picking up, killing an assist. And things are looking good for St. Clair this game.
Yeah, definitely looking up over the last game. Still a little bit of a CS deficit in the bot lane for the Ezreal over the 10 CS, especially with the death on him. But in the other lanes, we're seeing a pretty good disparity, except for the jungle, where the Serjani was trying to do a lot of invades and ganks down bot.
Yep. So it looks like the Urgot is kind of bullying this Cho'Gath. That's kind of how we expected it to go. Cho'Gath is keeping up in farm, though, which is very good for him. He's able to kind of mitigate that any lead that the Urgot's going to try and build with his early aggression. So as long as he can keep that up and keep even with that, then he's going to scale just as hard as Urgot is. So it's definitely good for St. Clair. Definitely going to keep an eye out for that. And if you want to talk about the jungler, a lot of good early aggression coming out of Naku and showing us that, he's not afraid to be aggressive. And he's not afraid of this Nocturne, who is about 15 CS ahead of him in the jungle right now, obviously because of those early kills. But he is 102, he is a kill up, and he's looking to use that to create an even bigger lead than he already has. So. And I do want to talk about the minion dematerializers that are coming out of the Thresh and the Vel'Koz. That is something that, if you think you might be not as powerful in the lane, you might pick up that just for some extra damage against the minion type. And if you didn't know it, you get 6 of them at the beginning of the game. It basically kills a lane minion of your choosing instantly. So it definitely allows you to be a little bit. Oh, and it looks like we got Infernal Drake taken by
Yeah,
St.
they need to
Clair.
be careful right now with the Nocturne
Yeah,
getting
for
in
sure.
there. Able to block out the thing, and
Looks like early smite,
having to
but
leave the pit.
yeah, so it looks like they're going to have to give that one up. Unfortunately, it was a good try, but there was some good wards. There was a good roam by the support from Rochester, and they were able to spot out that Infernal Drake being taken. Nocturne made his way down there, and with the level advantage, was able to kind of bully the Sejuani out of taking that. So Sejuani's still in this jungle, pretty low health, and that ward's going to spot her out, and Nocturne ult's going to go down on her, and she's just instantly taken down. And good ward placement by... Ooh, and the Nocturne's going to come in, looking for more, possibly. Might go in on the mid laner here, and the Vel'Koz ult going down. Nocturne is going to get melted by that Vel'Koz ult, and a second kill picked up by Rochester. So they kind of turned that into 2 kills. Well played by their jungler, and that ward placement down in the bot lane in that bush was key to them being able to take advantage of that. And unfortunately, I think they just weren't ready for that level 6 Nocturne to be able to pounce on them. And weren't ready for that deep vision placed there by, I believe, the support or the jungler when he was down there. A little bit late teleport out of top lane, which means Urgot is most likely going to be able to take a plate here, possibly 2. Build himself a little bit more of an early game lead. Cho'Gath make his way up there, and we'll see if he can get the second plate. And he does not get it, actually. So
No, just barely staying out. One
so we
auto
got
attack away.
160 gold denied
And-
from him for the time being.
Yeah.
But he does give himself a little bit more of a lead, a little bit more confidence booster. And he has the Phage compared to just the Frost Armor from the Cho'Gath, so he does still have a bit of an advantage there. Mid lane, the Vel'Koz did pick up a kill there on the Cassio, so he is getting himself back more into the game. And bot lane still looking okay. Sivir has come back and has picked up a lot more farm and is actually almost even with the Ezreal at this point, which is good because she is up a kill, so she does have that damage advantage. Oh, and the Sejuani ult is going to miss. Flash is forced out of Vel'Koz, though, so he will not have that available to him. And
Not a bad
will
trade.
yeah, so we'll see possibly a repeat gank by Sejuani. She decides to come back with the Vel'Koz ult down. He does have cleanse, so it is another way out. But Sejuani does have a lot of CC, so if she's able to land a little bit more on him, then could be an easier kill, but definitely helps out in mid lane. Good poke being put down by Sivir. Thresh is clearing out his wards, so she's kind of alone by herself for a second, but she is able to get some good poke down on the Ezreal, get him down to about half health. And Vel'Koz just kind of poking out in lane, waiting for his wave to come back. And Cho'Gath did back. He bought himself some Ninja Tabbies, which are going to help with that Urgot poke for sure. And we see jungle item is completed by the Nocturne. He looking for another gank soon. And Sejuani, unfortunately, is only at about half of her, 3/4 of her jungle item. She has to complete that before she completes her Cinder Hulk, before she gets more powerful than she already is. And Sivir's looking to complete that Storm Razor soon, and we'll see if he catches him up. And actually stops the back, so it'll be a little bit more of a delay. He's most likely looking to pick up a Kindle Gem, trying to get close to completing his Black Cleaver. But what do you think of the game so far?
I think St. Clair's doing a lot better than the previous game, but I still feel like Rochester just has a little bit of an
Ooh, we're
advantage.
gonna all in the bot lane. See Ezreal's gonna go for the poke and heal coming out of Sivir, and Sejuani's gonna flash in, try and pick up this Tahm Kench kill. He's gonna pop the black health and Nocturne surviving, and we got a flash, and kill picked up on both sides, 1-for-1 trade. Lots of flashes traded. Ezreal, Vel'Koz is looking like he's gonna roam in the bot lane. Vel'Koz going in, landing some CC. Sejuani all misses again, and Sivir's gonna go down, and Sejuani's just gonna fall. And heal pulled out by the Ezreal, and that looked pretty good for... Oh, we got some more action in the top lane. We'll see. Urgot's going to go for the ult. Is he going to get it? No, he's not going to get it. So...
And that's just really unfortunate right there. Again, one of the ultimate missing from Sejuani. I don't know if it would have resulted in a kill for St. Clair, but I think they definitely would have been able to got out of that unscratched if that landed.
Sure. So, unfortunately, it was a good roam by the Vel'Koz. He saw the fight coming. Cassio was not able to be in that fight and be a part of it. So... It was a clean 1-for-1 trade, and well played by the support, being able to swallow up his Nocturne, give him a little bit more time for the Vel'Koz to come down, and he actually survived as well with about 200 health. Unfortunately, their crits did not quite come through for the Sivir. She only, I think, landed 1 or 2 with her auto attacks, but it was a 1-for-1 in the beginning, turned into a 3-for-1 for Rochester, so they'll definitely be looking to come back from that, and... If anything good came out of that, Ezreal did not pick up any kills in that. It was the Vel'Koz that picked up all the kills. So there still is some significant pressure in the bot lane by the Sivir. She has completed her Storm Razor compared to the Man Immune by Ezreal, so he does not have as much damage as she does, and they can continue to put pressure down in the bot lane. But yeah, it's going to be...
I think most of the disparity right now is coming in towards that mid lane. Vel'Koz picking up those 3 kills and having about a 20 CS difference. Is just racking up that bounty and is already on the first item. Cassiopeia right now just matching it with that back.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to talk about was the Dark Seal out of Vel'Koz that has 6 stacks on it, which is going to do a lot more damage than just the Lich Bane out of Cassio. He has Lich Bane combined with that Dark Seal. And I do want to point out that Thresh Hook almost lands, not quite. But there's a Mountain Drake up. Don't know if anyone's going to contest that right now. Nocturne and Sejuani are motioning down there, seeing if they're going to go for it. But there's a lot of vision by both teams in that river. A couple wards out of St. Clair and a couple wards kind of nearby the pit by Rochester as well. So they're going to jostle for positioning there, jostle for some ward placements. And Sejuani ult does hit, but they don't want to... They'll go aggressive on it because they don't really see the Nocturne. And actually, they do spot out the Nocturne, so they don't want to go aggressive on it and see if it'll get turned on them. Was a good ult landed by Sejuani, but they just went for the safe play, didn't want to go super aggressive on it. And
and we can see kind of where this matchup in the top lane goes. Urgot can definitely put down a lot of damage on Cho'Gath, but just with his CC, he's just really safe, and he's just going to do his best right here to kind of sustain back up through the wave.
So Mountain Drake is picked up by Rochester. He's a little bit more tower damage, a little more objective damage as well against the Elder and any dragons that come up, as well as the Rift Herald and Baron. I do want to say, though, Cho'Gath is holding his own. He's only 9 CS down. So he's actually holding his own up in the top lane despite how much poke he is taking from that Urgot. And Urgot has picked up... Ooh, we got an ult in bot lane on the Sivir. Sivir's going to pop her ult. Ezreal ult's going to come through, and they are going to get the Sivir. Thresh Hook used. They're going to bring Nocturne in, and he is ignited, but he's not going to die on this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, really close right there.
Yeah.
You actually saw
oh, wow. What a nice
that
hook.
hitbox just kind of slipping through the minions right there.
Yeah. So we're going to see if he can actually... Ooh, flash forced out of the Nocturne by the Thresh. Unfortunately, he might pay with this with his life. He's going to pop the ult, and the Ignite popped on the Sejuani, actually, covering for a teammate. TP used by Cho'Gath. He's going to try and come in on the bot lane here. They're going to pick up the kill on the Cho'Gath, on the Tahm Kench by the Cho'Gath, so he's going to pick up a kill on the top lane. Definitely help him out with the pressure there. And well played by Thresh, staying alive, able to hit those hooks, and even though he burnt the ult for what seemed like nothing, teleport came in at the top laner, good awareness, good communication, and able to pick up the kill on the Tahm Kench and alleviate a little bit of pressure in the top lane. Yeah. Urgot does take the top lane turret, though. That is what the TP costs. And it looks like they might be switching lanes here.
Yeah, and Cho'Gath's just going to be really happy with that kill. Not only to give him a little bit of gold and the ultimate coming in for Strami, the cleanse, and just barely alive.
Yeah, so the Flash and Nocturnes are trying to cover for his laner here. Teleport coming in out of Urgot. Sejuani's going to go down really early. Ult missed by Cassio, and she's going to die as well. But she does pick up the kill on Vel'Koz, so it's a big shutdown. 750 gold for the Cassio, and that's definitely going to help her out. Although it looked like the Vel'Koz was going to pick up a very big lead, she's able to get that shutdown gold, able to pick up the Haunting Kaizo with an ult. Wow, we're back, and Sivir flashing out of it, and Thresh Hook on the Nocturne. Nocturne's not going to fall. He's going to get eaten up by the Tahm Kench. Flash over the wall. So we have a lot of flashes down, a lot of action all over the map, and although there were some turrets taken by Rochester, I think it's pretty crazy. A lot of kills coming through, and so we got some more action. Thrown over by the Urgot, flipped. Thresh is able to survive again, and nice hook by the Thresh, and eaten by Cho'Gath. Another flash thrown out, and they're going to go chase after this Tahm Kench to see if they can get him. And Sivir is not going to be able to quite reach him.
The slow coming in from the...
another hook. Another hook hit. And wow, Apex has been on fire with his hooks.
Yeah.
He's hitting them left and right. And, you know, he said, you know what? You're a pretty good Thresh last game. Let me show you how to play this champion.
Yeah.
So
and, good thing they were able to grab the Tahm Kench right there. Already quite a few saves onto his team. Doing a real good job. Unfortunately, though, he's not ever going to be able to do the save anymore. And for those who don't know,
another threat. Oh, and they're going to go in on the Nocturne and see if they can get him. Cassio ult used, doesn't quite get its target, and then Tahm Kench is going to pick up the Nocturne, throw him back, and he's going to survive, actually. Vel'Koz ult thrown out, pick up a kill onto the Thresh, going to chase after the Sivir. Sivir heals. Unfortunately, she dies too. They are able to pick up the Rift Herald during that fight, but they do lose 3 members, and none lost for Rochester. So Cho'Gath, I think he's just going to get stuck.
Out of this situation.
Yeah, so he's going to die as well. Ezreal's going to pick up a couple kills, and wow, that was like 5 minutes of just pure action.
Yeah, and once again, just that Tahm Kench coming in, swallowing that Nocturne, and just spitting him back out and
keeping him alive.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference in these fights. Definitely could go St. Clair's way if it wasn't for that Tahm Kench pick. So
and
he said it was a good pick for sure.
For anyone who doesn't know, the save is an old technique that was recently nerfed into oblivion by Riot, where you would cast your ultimate and your allies in combat could still jump into you over walls.
Oh, I didn't know you could go over walls and do that. Oh.
Yeah. Recently just nerfed.
Unfortunately.
Riot doesn't like that. You have to now be out of combat to take the ulti from him.
Yeah, we got another ult at a Nocturne. He's going to let Urgot pick up this kill. And that Nocturne is just ruining people. It's a good pickup, and it kind of allows you to, especially when you're So you're 6k ahead at this point. Oh, and Vel'Koz lands CC. He's going for an ult on the Sivir, and Sivir is going to die in that mid lane. Kind of caught out. She was pushed a little too far forward, and Vel'Koz was able to take advantage of that. So we'll see how this pans out. Infernal Drake is up, and Rochester, look, they're circling around it. They have some good vision around the bushes, and I don't think it's going to be contested by St. Clair on this one. Stoney's going to go in on the Ezreal, see if you can get Cho'Gath going to come in. Good ult by Tahm Kench, and they're going to hook Tahm Kench to see if he can burn him down. Ezreal's doing a lot of damage in the backline. Vel'Koz is going to be able to shred them with his true damage, and Cho'Gath looks like he's going to go down. Hook landed on the Vel'Koz, but they're not going to go aggressive on that as there's 4 members there from Rochester protecting that. Yeah. Another hook landed on by the Thresh, and they're going to try and kill the... And they are going to get the Nocturne. Big shutdown gold on the Sejuani. Thresh is able to stay alive, and the ult out of Ezreal is not going to pick up the kill on Thresh. And it looks like they're going to come out with their lives. And 1 for 1. Unfortunately, Rochester did pick up the Infernal Drake, so it doesn't look like the advantage was actually going over to St. Clair, although they did pick up a big bounty on the Nocturne. And bot lane turret taken down by Rochester, pushing their lead out a little bit, waiting for the respawns from St. Clair. Baron is up in 20 seconds. And gold lead is about 7,000 by Rochester. So at this point...
And that's before we even factor in the, I think, 11% boost to just their combat stats from the Fire Drake.
Yeah, we get it was 6%?
I think it's 7% for the first one. Because the first Drake's worth a Drake and a half now.
Oh, okay.
And then the second, just so that you're just a little bit of buffs to the early Drakes.
Yeah.
And
so Rift Herald used mid. Looks like they're going to take this mid outer tower. See if Rift Herald can get a second charge on the second turret, which it does. So they definitely, first tower of the game taken by St. Clair. They're going to need a lot more to be able to match Rochester's macro game. And I have to say, Rochester, even though the kills may have been a little behind on kills throughout the early part of the game, they did get a lot of pressure throughout their whole map. And hooked by the Thresh, not going to go in on it, just going to say hi and leave. And Thresh like he's going to turn around. Oh, and he misses the hook. Unfortunately, that is going to cost him his... Oh, wow, what a... I'm not sure. And Tahm Kench does swallow up the Vel'Koz. Thresh does sacrifice his life for that, and the Nocturne again is able to stay safe because of that Tahm Kench. And I'm not sure exactly why the ult didn't go. He threw an ult on the Thresh, and it didn't quite make it all the way there. I think Cassio might have ulted him while he was trying to kill the Thresh.
It actually looks like Nocturne might have gone on to the Cassio and maybe just tried to queue the Thresh for the pickup.
Makes more sense.
But wasn't able to get him, but the Vel'Koz being able to pick him up pretty easily.
Yeah, so we got the Urgot trying to dive all in. Splits up the team. Cho'Gath's kind of stuck in the front line, and he's flashing out to be able to escape from that. Urgot's going to try and go aggressive on him. Does get the execute, and that is a very strong Urgot. He is hit the point where he has a Red Glory and a Black Cleaver and is doing a massive amount of damage at this point. Thresh lands a hook on the Ezreal. Ezreal does not want to go in on it. And they'll try and poke out this team, but they're able to defend their mid turret. Cho'Gath does lose his life to the Urgot execute, and there's about a 9k gold lead over to the side of Rochester. 4 turrets to 1 and 3 dragons to none. So how does it? How do they come back from this?
A lot of it's gonna have to do with just trying to find an ultimate. Cassiopeia hitting her ultimate after Sejuani burning maybe some of the cleanses. Maybe able to stop something in this pit, but they don't really have any vision, so they gotta be really careful. And they're ape going down right there to the Q and W.
Yeah. So it looks like gonna be easy Baron take from Rochester, and they're gonna try and capitalize on this Baron take. Ult by Cassio actually kills a Nocturne, and Cho'Gath does die in the front line. Sacrifices his life for the Nocturne kill. Yeah. So it's 2 for 1. Baron picked up by Rochester, and a 501 Urgot. Looking a little bit scary right now.
Yeah, the bounty really growing there. Not having any deaths, and just able to actually tank up the front line right now, where Cho'Gath is struggling from just kind of the gold lead that the Rochester has accumulated so far.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is Urgot is a tank, but he's also does a lot of % health damage and is able to, you know, be a frontliner that's doing more damage to your backliners than anyone else. So we're going to see how this pans out, see how they take advantage of this Baron they have. Infernal Drake is up in 30 seconds. We'll see if they go try and take that. Looks like they're gathering up mid, possibly going for a mid push. We'll see if there's a fight possibly coming here, but kills are 9 to 19. Gold lead about just over 10k now, actually, and we'll see what they do with this Baron. See if they try and push it down the middle or take advantage of the macro advantage that Rochester has. See if they use that to leverage taking more turrets. They took the mid lane turret. It was pretty low, so it's some standing gold that they're able to obtain. And they're going to look like they're going to push top lane, try and suffocate Saints out, similar to what happened last time. And there's a large lead in the top lane, just one item on the Cho'Gath, while there's almost 3 items on the Urgot. It's definitely making a big difference there. And I think the Nocturne pick was also pretty terrifying. He was able to, you know, pick a target, ult on them, and almost one-shot the Sivir every time. So that small advantage that you did build in the early game was almost negated by the level 6 ults by Nocturne. So
just base defense right here. They're going to have to go for a play soon. Maybe wait out the Baron, but it looks like their turrets are going to fall before they're actually given that opportunity.
yeah.
And they're just going to look for a play, and Johnny going on with
Johnny lands the ult on the Ezreal. Ezreal does get Tom Kenched out. Ezreal throws out his ult, doesn't hit anybody. Tom Kench probably is going to be down for a bit, but it looks like Urgot's going to try and push the top lane. Got a 2v1 in the top lane. Cho'Gath's going to go after the Urgot. Doesn't land anything. Still kind of walking around mid, waiting for minions to spawn, but doesn't look good because you're going to have to be able to 1v1 the little bit more fed members of Rochester. And looks like they're going to chip away at that bot turret. Bot turret is taken. Nocturne going on the Sivir. They're going to pick up the kill on Sivir. Nocturne's going to be able to survive that. Buckles Nocturne in the bot lane, just destroying the St. Clair. And Ezra going in the mid. And big fight going on. Thresh is going to stay alive. He's going to hit Hook, but he is going to go down as well. And double kill by Ezreal and pick up the last member. One member left surviving the Saints. Nocturne, the only one going down on Rochester, and it looks like they're going to try and just end the game here. Cassio not really going to be able to do much against this Baron empowered minions, and I think this might be it. And GG's coming out from both sides, and Cassio going to try and hit in with their last one, but it looks like
Rochester is going to take this series, this best of 3 series, in a 2-0.
So fortunately, our boys aren't able to pull it out today. What do they have to work on for next time?
I think a lot of they have to work on is just being a really cohesive unit as a team instead of maybe trying to do their own things. I think the major play we really saw that is when Johnny was tanking Dragon and actually had to leave Pit because of her HP being too low.
So just Rochester taking this 2-0. And, you know, was there anything specifically that you want to say about anyone on the team, or you just kind of the whole team was then we got to meld more and figure out, you know, what are our weaknesses, what are our strengths, and play more towards.
Yeah, I don't think
those.
it was any particular players. I think we could, if you really wanted to, you could pick out mistakes from each individual player. But the main thing is that you still want to be a cohesive team, and then work on the individual players. You wanna first meld their strengths into one, and then bolster them up one by one to finally get your finished team.